I just wrapped a commercial for Solomon Shoes. Here's every lighting setup I used to shoot it, what worked, and what I would change, and the lighting kit that I used to actually make this thing possible when shooting it at extreme slow motion frame rates through this whole commercial.
Yeah, I'm surprised this one light can do so much, bro. This is crazy.
Okay, so GVM just sent me this amazing, insanely bright light, and I'm really excited. We teamed up on this project for this commercial that we were shooting. I reached out to GVM and I was like, hey guys, we're shooting this small team project. We are shooting for the shoe company. We have to run all over the city. We have to get tons of locations, tons of shots, and we need a light with high output that's going to be able to deliver what we need for this project. And luckily they had a light that was exactly what we were looking for, the 1200B AIO. This light is pretty insane because there is no ballast. It's just this head of the light. The ballast is built into this. As a one-person creator team or a small team, be able to be more nimble and fast and quick and easier with this type of equipment. And that's what's making me really excited about LED lighting technology right now, is that it's getting smaller and smaller, but the output is getting bigger and bigger, which is super fantastic as a creator because now you have more possibilities of what you can create with these types of lights. It has this top handle right up here, which is super great. You can just pull it out. Amazing part is you have back here, you only have to plug in one cable, which is so freaking great. Traditionally when you had a ballast, you'd have to plug in all these different head cables, but this is so quick and easy because you only need one cable, which is so freaking great. You're getting the whole bicolor range, and you know me, I love shooting tungsten during daylight, and I was getting the output and throw that I was looking for, which was so awesome.
All right, so we made it to the studio and we're just setting up this sequence where we're gonna VFX the background, and it's gonna be this lightning sky, and we're gonna have slow motion 240 frames with tons of rain. And so when you're shooting with rain or like water, you always wanna backlight it because that's what's gonna allow you to see the definition of the water. What we're using is we're using the GVM 1200B AIO. And the fantastic thing about this light is that we're able to have this incredible output because we are shooting 240 frames in the studio. So we need tons of output, and this thing has 1200 watts of bicolor output, which is so fantastic. We're also needing to do a lightning effect, and this has 12 effects built into it, which is super cool. We're gonna do a lightning effect with this just to replicate what the VFX is gonna be going on in the background. And then we also have just a panel overhead just to create some top light that's gonna strobe on an opposite kind of pulse. And we have this only at 50%, and that's doing enough light for 240 frames, which is fantastic. We're shooting on the anamorphics, and then we're gonna VFX the background there. The one other cool thing about this light is it has no ballast. You don't need a ballast. It's all built into the head. It's the same size as like competitor heads, but just without the ballast. And the great thing about it is we're running and gunning today, and like we don't have a big crew, so it's helping us so much with just like the one easy cable. Like you just need to plug in the one cable, and that's it. That's all you need to make it work, and it's so easy to use, and it has so much output, which is so fantastic.
Yeah, I'm surprised this one light can do so much, bro. This is crazy.
For this running sequence on the treadmill, we actually set all our lights to 5600 kelvins and our camera at 3200 kelvins just to get a colder look. And then we just had our key light, which was the GVM 1200, and that gave us tons of output that we needed for the key light because I was shooting 240 frames, which cuts down a lot of light getting passed through the sensor. And then we had our spray bottles just creating the rain effect. So we're shooting constant light just for safety. Not an AI Pro yet. So we're getting different plates basically, which is like different layers. So just in case you need to composite things over top, or if you need to just have another backup for safety. So we're getting constant light as a plate, just in case the AI or the VFX needs him separated from the background, because when it was flashing, he would have no backlight. So he kind of blended into the black void behind him. And so that might be tricky to actually key him out of that and then add a background. So I just want the AI to be as successful as possible. So I'm making sure that everything is constant, and I can always add that lightning effect back in. Right now we have a top light at a constant exposure, no effect. that's just this backlight the rain, so we're able to see the rain. And then we have the GVM as a key light, only at like 60% because we're shooting 240 frames with a rotofull, so it's like almost like an ND3 in there. That's doing amazing things. We have the softbox on it, the big 6-foot softbox, so it's soft. Bigger the source, the softer it's going to be. If your light source in correspondence to your subject is smaller, it's going to be harder light, so we brought it in nice and close, so it's soft. And then we also have another light with a lightning effect with a China ball on it just to soften it, and that's backlighting and creating that constant lightning effect, which is looking really cool. Again, all our lights are set at 5600 kelvins, cameras at 3200 kelvins, just to get that colder feel and look to it. Now we're just adding a black solid behind the subjects, just so it's a black void behind it, and we're just really focusing on him and nothing in the background. Yeah, and it's looking pretty good so far, so. What do you think it looks like?
What Chris said.
Right now, we're doing this kind of moody red light flash. And so we just have the panel overhead, just menaced arms down on 2 C-stand arms. And that's just creating this like moody red top light, and we're just gonna have him kind of posing in that. Keep the motivation of the red going up throughout the commercial, where we have the shoes for the red. I find when you're like exposing with the red light, you don't always have to be exposing to middle gray. I remember I was always trying to push to get middle gray, but then your images start looking really washed out. So red can be really tricky in that situation. So having it underexposed is okay, because I feel like the red falls apart really quickly. And then we're adding haze as well, just to add some more texture and allow the light to spread out a little bit more, because it was a little too concentrated and we kind of want the light to spread out a little bit more. But you can see that we have talent under the light. We'll probably adjust him depending on what will look best to see if it's gonna be more backlit, just so we get a little bit more shadow in his face and a little bit more mystery. So we saw this really cool shot on Instagram where people use plastic, the top light, so we're trying to do that, and we're just trying to finagle it so that it looks good, so that we have some foreground and some background, so it's not just like one plane of plastic. So we're playing with 3 different, layers of it. So a little update, we actually swapped the top light to 6000 kelvins because we opened the door in the back of the studio, and I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty sick. So we're going with a colder scene. So right now we're going to 240 frames on the FX6. And so we have the GVM with the modifier on it, and that's just giving us this punchy light source and this controlled light source. And I can throw these tools into it to make it even more concentrated. But what that's doing is it's allowing us to give more output and make that source feel so concentrated. We're getting this beautiful flare. We're going slow motion, so we need a lot of light. So this modifier and the light is just giving the output that we need. So we literally have the GVM at 15% at 200 frames per second. We're getting plenty of light. Pretty crazy. And then we just have a silver 5-in-1 reflector just bouncing some light back, and we're just getting that to wrap the light around and give a different quality of light, a little bit harder of a light. We have the rain going backlit by the GVM, and it's just like, dude, it's crazy.
That's rad.
That's sick. Dude!
We actually ended up shooting this spotlight effect thing as the spotlight's kind of panning through, and it's creating this like almost effect from a window or a door. We just put the spotlight attachment with a 36-degree barrel on the GVM, and we just had that kind of panning back and forth, and it just created a really cool texture on the back wall, and also a really cool transitional point for the actual commercial.
Okay, so right now we're using the GVM 1200B at 2700 kelvins. That's the fantastic thing about the light. It's bi-color, so you get all the way from 2700 kelvins all the way up into the colder temperatures. We're using that as a backlight so that we can see the water as the shoe's coming through slow motion at 240 frames into the puddle, and we're seeing that in slow motion, and to get that water coming up, and we need it to be backlit. So that's what that's doing with the 3 times intensifier, and that's just giving that concentrated beam and that output that we need, because we're trying to overpower the sun and the sky, because I have to throw in so much ND into my camera. I'm at 240 frames per second, so that's already cutting down the light going into my sensor a lot. And then I also have an ND6 in the camera, so that's how much output that light is giving me, which is absolutely insane. And at 2700 kelvins, usually when you're in the warmer temperatures of bicolor lights, it's just way more dim. You don't get the same output as like daylight chips.
Okay, what channel is the transmitter? Are you ready to get out of here? What?
Hey Chris, what you got going over here?
All right, so we're just setting up in the back of a pickup truck. We're gonna kind of be grabbing some tracking shots with Kylan over there. And then we're shooting on the Blazer Anamorphics 125, super tight. Go start on the feet and tilt up to him. So right now we're trying to do this rotating shot. So it's the camera's gonna be like mounted on here, and then we're gonna flip it like that. So it's like basically see him running and it flips up, and we're gonna see the chandelier in the background. That's kind of the shot. And we got this like weird little pro-aim rotating thing that's gonna rotate 360. So we're just trying to mount the camera to the cheese plate. So yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is a sponsored video by GVM. Thank you to GVM for helping us make this product possible. Do check out their light down below. There is a link down below for it. It does support this channel. It allows me to make more videos for you guys. So that would help me a lot, and I would really appreciate it. And they are fantastic products, so do check them out down below. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.